What's going on, Otaku Ans? Otaku
Bah, bah, bah,
Ans.
bah, bah, bah.
It's that time of the year again. It's only not been a year yet, but
Time of the
it's that
season.
time of the season again. It's that time of the season again. Sorry about my camera. My other camera broke, so now it's a little blurry. This is supposed to be a better camera, but it's not. So, anyways, we are going to do our hot or drop of last season. Spring season already started, which I didn't even know. I saw some TikToks about it. I sent you some damn TikToks about these new shows coming
I
out.
mean, a
There's
couple
episode,
things started, yeah.
yeah, there's some episode ones that are already dropping or that have already dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna do our hot or drop of last season. So if you didn't catch last season's animes and you were thinking about watching them, then we're gonna do it for you. Now, we're not gonna run into deep long synopsises about these things. Synopsisize
I think that's right.
uh, about about these shows. A lot of them are returning. We got a lot of season twos, a little bit of season threes here or there, but it was a pretty decent season. So we're gonna give you our hot or drop, whether we liked it or not.
Mm-hmm.
David has a list. Let's kick it.
Yep, let's get into it. Yeah, we have a lot. It's not a lot. It's not like 50, 40. Honestly,
Yeah,
we did watch like 30, 40, but we
yeah.
did condense it down to like 20,
You watch
25.
you watch more than I do, so you
Yeah,
normally do.
I have to put it on rotation though. Like I watch it like weekly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I
Yeah,
watch like two or three different ones a day. But when you do
yeah.
7 days a week, yeah, I ended up at like 30 something. But neither here or there. We did keep the list. We kept the list fairly short. But not going to really go into everything here. But we do have a lot to go through. So the first one I do want to bring up is going to be Handyman Saitama or Saitou in
So
Another World.
yeah,
This one was fairly good. I know we did speak about it before. It is a it's essentially a anime. It is an isekai. It's about the main character. He was isekai'd into another world. In his previous world, his original world, he was a handyman. And so usually, of course, with isekais, they transfer or reincarnate into another world. They get some type of power, some type of absurd skill that makes them, like
OP.
different. Yeah, OP in a way where he didn't. He just became a handyman in this another world. So that's the premise of it all. Second premise is it's a collection of short stories. So as you watch each episode, you may see two, three different short stories in one episode, and they're usually not too deep. Like a small little
Yeah,
adventure, small little quirky thing that happened. They make a little small little short story about that. So it's fairly good. I think the main point of the whole show, I thought it was going to get into like this whole battle royale thing, but it didn't overall it didn't really get into that. The main thing is like the main character, the handyman guy. He's not really extraordinary or anything. He does have a really good memory. He can fix pretty much a lot of things, like important things, like of course weapons, chainmail, stuff like that. So he's actually quite handy even by the end of the first season. The main thing is really his relationship with that the night girl, like the one with the broadsword, and like it's a cute little relationship. Like it works out in the end. I think that was the whole main idea. But I know you're getting ready to jump into it. I know.
I don't have
I want to get
you.
into.
You talk.
I
You
want to
speaking a
say it
lot
all.
on
I
it. I
mean,
have. I have
look at.
nothing.
Remember, this is not a how to drop. This is just a wrap up. We're just wrapping up the show.
We haven't done a hotter drop for this season. It's a hotter drop. It's a drop.
We did one. It was a while ago though. We did one. We did one.
End of the
I
season
get
hotter
it. I
drop.
get. But just to let you guys know, it
No,
was actually it was a
it's boring.
decent show. It can be boring. It can be a little slice of lifey. There is some action in there. There's of course magic, sorcery, sword play, stuff like that. But it's
It's a drop.
it's 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 a nice slice of life
Boring.
short story compilation. Maui,
Boring.
what are your
Drop.
thoughts?
Boring drop. It was boring. I can't. I have nothing
I hear you.
negative or positive. I guess boring is negative, but I mean like negative or positive to say. I watched it. It was just boring. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
I understood the plot. I
yeah.
understood the characters. I understood the premise. I understood what was going on. It was very simple and easy, but it was just boring. So I'm not gonna continue watching it. It was
I
boring.
hear you. I hear you.
But
All right,
like I don't.
check it out if you're interested. In this, like I said, it's a slice of life isekai overall. Handyman Saito in Another World.
It was alright. It was
It was
boring.
all right. All right, here's another one. Chilling in my 30s after being fired from the Demon King's army. It wasn't a isekai. Of course, it was a fantasy world, but essentially, it's about a guy who was found as a baby by a demon general, a guy from the Demon King's army.
Mm,
He was a general in the
yeah.
army. He found him. He raised him. Apparently, he found out at some point that this kid is actually not a demon. He's actually a human. But the guy didn't
Mm,
know until essentially that guy, that general, retired. His son became the
mm.
next general, but his son was always had a deep seated jealousy of the
Yeah.
main character. So essentially, once he
Because it was
became
like
in
his
charge,
son. Yeah,
yeah,
he's like
he
he
treated him
thought
like
of
a
him as
son.
his son, treated him like a better son. Yeah.
So essentially, once he became the general, he fired him, which is the whole premise of the show. Chilling in my 30s after being fired, he was fired by the new general. He finds a village. He meets a girl. He actually ends up marrying this girl, having a kid with this girl, learning that he is a human,
Yeah.
getting what magicide or what's the name of the crystal that they use to make the
Uh,
weapons.
yeah,
They
I
use it a
forgot
lot. Yeah, they
exactly what
use
it's
it a lot
called.
in different animes. You
Well,
when
he
you
didn't.
hear
I
it,
mean, yeah, he didn't. He didn't really know he was a human until he tried to form a contract with the guild, and all the
yeah,
humans could
and
form a
and he
contract.
was
And
like,
he
"Oh, this is
joined it,
not going to
and he was like,
work,"
"Oh shit!"
and then it would end up working. So that's how he
So
found out.
I don't have a lot to say on this one either, but I did actually like this one.
Okay.
It was a little bit, like you said, it was a little bit of a slice of life. I mean, it was obviously kicked out of. I'm chilling in my 30s. It literally says it in the title. He's chilling. That's what he's doing. He's living his life. I thought it was really funny. I think one of the coldest moments, or one of the funniest moments for me, is when the general went to go speak to the demon lord, and the demon lord actually likes him, like liked the I forgot what his name is, the main character. Like the demon lord actually liked him, and I think something went along the lines of maybe you should go ask him for help. Like the demon lord said that to the general,
Yeah.
and the general was kind of like because at this because and then like before the demon lord said another word, I was like, damn, the demon lord doesn't even know that he got removed from the heroes party, like,
Yeah.
or not heroes party, the demon lords party, whatever it is. Um, didn't even know he got removed from the army. And then right as I thought that, the demon lord said, "I wonder how he's doing in that village over there," or something like that. Like he knew that he got
He
kicked out of
knew,
the army,
and he
and I
wasn't
was like,
happy about it at all.
yeah, he was fucking pissed.
Everyone
And
was shit.
and I was like, "Oh fuck! Like you're fucking screwed, my boy. And, like you're fucking like you're done, my boy." So I thought that was a pretty funny moment. But I think the whole thing is just very memey and very funny.
Yeah.
Not memey in the sense of they make fun of other animes, but just memey as like very. He's very at
It was
being
a
a
chill show. It was
yeah
just chill.
at being a human. He's very clumsy at being normal human tasks,
Mm.
being a human, learning how to be a human. I think it's pretty funny.
Clumsy, but
Um,
he does things exceedingly well.
Yeah, because he leveled up like super fucking fast because of his skills that he learned in the demon part in the demon army. When he became like a fucking, he became one of the strongest fucking. He could use all the different elements or all the like each guild member has their own special skill where they have smash, slash, stab,
Yeah.
and some other shit. Only you can only use one, whatever you're really good at, but he can use all of them. You
Yeah,
know.
like a hero can.
Yes. So he's pretty much, even though he got removed and he wasn't a demon, he's still OP as a
Yeah,
demon.
he's OP as a
So like,
human. Yeah.
so I thought it was really good. I might continue watching it. I didn't finish it. I'll have to go back and finish it again. But I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it's
So
really good. I would definitely say
yeah, 9 out of 10
9 out of
because it's a
10.
slice of life, and I can never give it slice of life 10 out of 10. So
It's
that's just
definitely a show. Like you say, you haven't finished it. Definitely watch it. Finish it. It finishes fairly strong, especially if you do want to see some action. The last few episodes are super action packed,
that's
dealing
cool.
with the whole conflict of everything. I think
Yeah,
what amazes me, or what by the end of the season, I really want to know is seeing that the general has this relationship with the humans, or has a
yeah,
secret relationship with the humans, and he doesn't really truly hate them, and the hero, even though he's trying to fight them, he also understands that it's the humans fault for
yeah.
the whole conflict between I want to know what the demon king's thoughts are, because when they
So
talk about him, he's like this evil
but
demon king, and no
I
one
think the
truly
Demon King's
knows.
kind of like I think the Demon King's kind of like the demon demon as a part time or the uh, part time Demon King, whatever that show is called. I think that's how the Demon King is because the Demon King strikes me as somebody who's doesn't really give a fuck. Like they're ruling, and they'll fucking bully their demons all day long.
Yeah.
But I think was it a she or he? I forgot.
It's a he, but he can transform
Yeah,
at
so
will. Yeah.
they them sorry. When they when the the Demon King, when the Demon King can't like thinks that the demons are below him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he just thinks that they're just insects that he created or he rules,
Yeah.
but he actually cares about the people he cares for.
Yeah.
And I don't think he really gives a shit if the humans are doing human things. I don't think he gives a fuck. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody came and invaded his kingdom, then that's another thing. But like, I don't think he cares. I think it's his generals that went fucking out of pocket
Yeah.
and started attacking and started doing all this nonsense. And then the Demon King was it's kind of like it's kind of like the premise of God, right? Like, oh, fucking boys will be boys. You know, like people are gonna war, people are gonna fight. I'm not gonna stop it, but I'm also not gonna help. You know what I'm saying? I'll step in when I need to,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. You
Yeah, that
know,
makes
so
sense.
I think that's kind of where the Demon King's head's at, but we'll find out. So
Yeah, if it has a second season, I'll definitely check it out.
yeah,
100%. My chair did that thing again. So the third show I do want to bring up, I really did like this show, is Farming Life in Another World. It is an isekai. For this show, the guy, he is essentially he had a good life in our regular human world. He ended up dying by the gods' fault in some way. They didn't really get into that. So the guy essentially said, "Hey, what do you want?" Oh, he had a very unfortunate life in the previous world too,
yeah.
in which he was like bedridden. He spent his life in the hospital watching TV, and the guy's like, "What do you want to make up for?" Your life. And he said, "Oh well, when I was bedridden, I watched a lot of farming shows on TV. So I want to in my next life I want to live. I want to be a farmer." And live an easy life. So they said, granted, they gave him his magical tool. And this magical tool, he uses it obviously to be a farmer, to till the ground.
Yeah.
And whatever he tills, whatever he like uses the tool for, it's bountiful, bountiful feast. Well,
Yeah.
he then learns he can turn to different tools like to create chairs, furniture, to build houses and stuff. So essentially, what this show is about is this guy who just receives this magical tool from a god to essentially say, "I'm sorry for ruining your life before. Here's the new life." So here's Ezekiel, where you can essentially have an easy life. And he used this tool to create a huge village where he has different races of monsters. Apparently, where the village is in the middle of the most dangerous magical forest in the world, and the type of monsters and different species that come to live in his village. He marries one of them. I'm not going to get into that part, but they're the most feared in the whole world. So that demons, dragons, all kinds of like around are like
Like
we
Rimuru.
fear them. Exactly. Same premise of Rimuru. Same thing as that. He creates that village of all these creatures, and everyone fears them to the point of should we attack? Should we spy? Should we be friends with them?
Yeah.
It's a really good slice of life show. Have you seen a little bit of it?
I didn't care for it. I think I watched like the first episode. I knew what it was going to be about. So many other isekais, same thing. You know, like I maxed out my farming skills and became overpowered. You know, shit like that. So it's kind of like I was like, eh. But the way you're describing it, it kind of sounds interesting because I think that the action can be there. Because I also did like the when a realist hero like saves the kingdom or something like that. I forgot what the
Mm-hmm.
title of that one was. Um, but it sounds interesting. I didn't start it. That's not my cup of tea. You know me. Those
Yeah.
slice of life. Um, the only caveat is the slice of lives that are isekais sometimes can be bangers, and I just kind of sleep on.
It's
So
a really good one. Definitely a
yeah,
banger.
I might check that one out. But I was like, eh, you know,
Well, this next one I know you for sure checked out. We spoke about it offline a few times. Vinland Saga Season 2. Quickly, it's a Viking anime. Season 1 was fairly good. It was about how his father was killed by this man. He essentially joined this man crew in order because the man led him, knowing that he killed his father, so that he can try every day of his life, every year of his life, to get stronger and better in order to defeat this guy to get revenge for him killing his father. And then it moves us to season 2.
if you don't know what's gonna happen, season two is exceedingly fucking boring compared to season one. And I mean mind-numbingly boring. But I know what's going to happen. The problem I have with it is that not everybody reads manga. Not
Mm.
everybody does their research. Not everybody's an anime content creator that does research, right? So a lot of people watching Vinland Saga, a majority of them I bet have never read the manga. They've only just watched the show.
Mm.
I've seen countless fucking articles, Reddit subreddits, like reviews on YouTube about people saying that Vinland Saga is trash now. But people don't understand what's gonna happen and why it happened. And spoiler alert, because Vinland Saga season one has come out a long time ago. So like, fucking watch the show. It's about the journey, not the destination. The guy that he was trying to kill the whole time, the whole show, that he was a part of the crew, ends up getting killed in front of him by somebody that he was trying. He was trying to kill him first, but he didn't get to him in time. And Thorfinn, our main character, goes fucking berserk because that's all he lived and trained and fought for, was just to get better to defeat this guy. Now Thorfinn was 100% stronger than him around like the mid-season. Mid-season one, he was already stronger than him. But um, I forgot what his fucking name is. The guy he was trying to kill, she kept cheating. And he kept using Thorfinn's anger against him. If Thorfinn would have been calm like he was in all his battles, he would have beat him easy. Easy fucking peasy. He would have been done with him. But he kept using his anger against him, using Thorfinn's emotions as a child, and like making him mad, so he kept making slip ups, and he cheated a couple times.
I mean, that's a skill though. Like,
but
and they're Vikings. There's no cheating. Yeah. They're Vikings.
Yeah. I'm saying he used tactics that Thorfinn thought that they weren't supposed to use. But I mean, it's a fight. Like, if you pull a knife out, I'm gonna pull a gun.
Exactly.
You know
exactly.
But after that happened, Thorfinn lost the will to fight. He's like the only thing for the last 10 fucking years, because he was like 5 when he joined his crew. That's anime age, right? Like 5-year-olds fighting in wars and shit. But he was 5 when he joined that guy's crew. He's like in his like 15, 16s or something like that when the show is wrapping up, and then he's like a little bit like a young adult in the second season.
Yeah.
So he over a decade, right, of literally violence just to beat this one guy, and then all of a sudden in front of you, your goal disappears. He snaps too. He tries to kill the king. He tries to do everything. He goes buck fucking wild. He lost the will, so now he's a slave because he tried to kill the king. And so literally the entire season so far is him just doing slave work, not talking. He has like nightmares and shit. And then he'll wake up like PTSD type shit. And he'll have nightmares, and then he just does the slave work, goes back to bed, does the slave work. There's a couple things here and there, and people are saying that it's ass now. But you have to understand that this is a realistic type anime with realistic emotions. There's nothing unreal about this anime except for like the obvious strength and speed and jumping and shit like that. Like real humans can't do that shit. But other than that, there's no powers, this is emotion. Imagine your dream in front of you just disappears. Your goal that you've been fighting for, he has nothing to fight for. So why would he fight? Why would he get violent? Why would he be the old Thorfinn? Because he's not the old Thorfinn anymore, because Thorfinn's goal died. But people don't understand what's going to happen. I'm not going to ruin that because it hasn't come out yet. But people don't understand what's going to happen. It will get there. It will. It's just that it was mind-numbingly fucking boring. I don't read the manga either, but I did the research because I'm like, something's going to happen. So then I looked it up, and I started reading some panels, and I started digging a little bit. And like I said, I'm more of a journey, not the destination kind of guy. So if I ruin the ending of something, then that's fine. I know the ending of Demon Slayer. I've never read it. You know what I'm saying? But I can't wait to see it animated. So I was like, ah. But then but I also know the standard human emotion. Like, that's human being. He's a human being. Like, he lost his goal. Why would he continue to fight in a war that he didn't want to fight in the fucking first place? Yeah. You know, he's living a good life. Like, who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? Not a good life, but, like, he's decent. He's alive. He's fed. He's working.
So is it worth continuing?
I think it's worth continuing because I know that something crazy is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a good show. It's just that I know a lot of people who don't read manga said it's mind-numbingly boring and they're not going to watch it anymore. It's like nothing changed. I mean, nothing changed about the show. It's the same characters, same voice actors. Studio Mappa fucking developed it, so it's great animation. You just gotta watch him. He's a slave, like, and he doesn't have anything to fight for. Like, what the fuck else do you think he's gonna do? Just start murdering everybody around him? He didn't want to do this shit in the first place. He only did it because he wanted to kill the guy that he was with. So, and the guy's dead now. So.
You know me. It doesn't matter how many episodes it's gonna take. I'm there for the journey.
Yeah.
One Piece forever. I'm there for the journey.
You gotta be. You gotta be, and I think it helps that we've watched those, 300, 400, 500 episode, 900 episode animes. So it's like it doesn't really bother
1,000.
me to walk through it. I'm sorry.
1,000 episodes. Anyway, let's go ahead and move
Yeah.
on.
So the next anime was Spy Classroom. Spy Classroom. I remember when I first talked about this one, I thought what I thought Spy Classroom was going to be like Assassination Classroom, when they're all in the classroom trying to
Yeah.
kill the teacher.
That was a great show, by the way.
It was a great show, and I was pleasantly surprised that this is exactly what this show is about. Somewhat. So Spy Classroom is about a whole bunch of girls. They're all spies. They're all in Spy Academy, and essentially they're not graduating in time, doing what they need to do. Maybe there's something wrong and why that's keeping them from graduating. Essentially, they all receive orders to go on the impossible mission, and they're working underneath the world's best spy. And like, he's literally the world's best spy, and it's his job to basically get them ready for this mission. So when I first started this whole season, it confused me because the mission was like in the first 3 episodes, and they ended up like succeeding the mission, and then like the episodes after that, it was going back in time, kind of explaining what happened before the mission, and then at some point it kind of like jumped back to currently after the mission again and showing all the things. So I wasn't really a fan of the chronological order. Yeah, like it kept like jumping. I wasn't a fan of that. Now for the show itself, it was really good. Like each of the girls, they had their own character development. They had their own relationships with each other and relationship with the main teacher. They ended up going on missions themselves. Like the main mission in the end, like they went on and it showcased their abilities and showcased how good the show really is. It stopped being the teacher. They call him teacher, sensei, whatever. They stopped being only about them and being about all of them and their different skills. So I actually thought this was a really good show. I would definitely give it like if I had to give it a score, like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good in the end. Like, it definitely gave me those Assassination Classroom vibes.
When you told it to me, I did watch like the first few episodes. I don't have much to talk about it because I feel like if I didn't watch at least 3 episodes, I don't have much to say because that's normally when the story develops. It seemed pretty cool. Something I might continue in the future because I mean, I loved Assassination Classroom. I think that was probably like when I first saw the title of it and I saw the little fucking Okudo, whatever Okuro, whatever the squid guy, the yellow fucking squid guy.
Oh, Kirogiri?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
But I thought it was stupid, but then I watched it and it was fucking, it was an amazing fucking show. So, with a very big plot twist at the end. And so I might continue that. There's some other ones on the docket that I need to start or actually continue, but it's probably mid for me. So,
I mean, when it comes to like the aesthetics of the show, I think that's really what makes it better. It has like those dark undertones. The teacher or the sensei, he's not like this extravagant person. He has like a very melancholy voice. He's very precise. Exactly. He's very precise. He's 100%. He does everything perfectly. And then you have these girls with all this bountiful personality trying to be as good as Assassinations as he is. And then like they do some really cool shit in the show. So definitely watch. Now, this next show, oh my god. The Misfit of the Demon King Academy Season 2. And I'm going to go ahead and put an asterisk Part 1. So this show, Season 1, was amazing. It was about this guy. He's the Demon King. He was reincarnated. He's super OP. He does OP shit. All the females love him. Season 1 was the chattiest Chad moments. Season 2 kind of wanted to make a story or establish a story, which I appreciate that. But they came running into Season 2 with the story. It was super rushed. And then it stopped.
Really there's not really much action. He's not doing his OP shit anymore.
Yeah, it's like they kind of nerfed his power.
They nerfed him. The girls are kind of just there. And I get, like, they had a good heading for the story in Season 1 with like all his demon generals were either dead or they were pretty much they were like somebody was inside of them. Like
they were being controlled.
They're being controlled and stuff like that, and they had a great premise, and they could have kept with that. And then you had the final fight, like the high school fight, where Anos kept reincarnating that dude and having these like fucking Giga Chad moments, like you said, like these motherfucking OP moments, but then like season 2 just got fucking boring. Like it just they came to a screeching halt. And I've talked about this, just like Records of Ragnarok, just like fucking, you come into a show expecting one thing, um, and just like Legends of the Heroes, which we'll talk about in a second, but like, and then they like, oh, we did really great, let's fucking change it up. Like, why fix something that ain't broken? I get that you're trying to push the story forward, but they like nerfed him to do that. They didn't put him in situations where people were trying to fight him anymore. And I think they overplayed their hand with his command presence, because everybody knows he's not everybody, but everybody believes he's the demon lord. Now the people who are loyal to him believe him, and so now, okay, so nobody wants to fight him anymore.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do then? Like he was going into the damn, when that instructor was in his demon general's body, but he knew he was the hero. He was one of the heroes from back in the day. And then he just sat back down in class like nothing fucking happened after he talked to him, and he was like, oh, I know you're the demon lord. He's like, I know you're the hero. Okay, come up here and do this math problem. Like, okay. And he's like, okay. And he goes up and like, I was just like,
it was bad. It was bad. Like we get it, but they stopped. For whatever, I can't remember the reason why they stopped.
They probably Boruto'd it, where somebody else was writing the story, and then they fired that motherfucker, and then they're getting their original writer back.
So they're going to come back at it again. If it comes back better, are you going to resume watching it, or did this put a bad taste in your mouth?
I've always loved this show. My wife loves this show. I watched the first few episodes without her, and I told her about it, so she kind of doesn't want to watch it anymore, because I told her what pretty much was going on. But I mean, hopefully they stopped it because they realized some of the reviews they were getting, and because I've seen it again, subreddit posts, like YouTube videos, like people didn't like it. People didn't like it at all, and I don't know what's gonna happen on this one, like I did with Vinland Saga. But I'm gonna still keep watching it when it comes back. I think I still have like one more episode in the first part 1 to go, but
yeah,
I don't know. But
yeah, it didn't even get that deep into it. I wouldn't even bother. If
it's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
One of my favorite animes.
I mean, you can finish it, of course, but I wouldn't bother, honestly.
Yeah.
It's nothing to write home about. But yeah, that's Misfit of Demon King Academy Season 2 Part 1. Now, I like this next one. There was some parts where it drug a little bit, but it was actually a fairly decent show. Adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world.
I want to start that. I know I said I would, but I didn't. But I do want to start that one. I was watching all the other shit, but I do want to start that.
This is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those shows where it's not a show where the characters are super OP, or you're gonna see them fight the super OP bad guy in the end, and they're gonna show how OP they are, and that's gonna be in the end of season 1. This is not that. This is a show that sets up for a longer run. So this show is, just a quick synopsis, it's about a group of people who they all come from their different respective parties, walks of life, where they were fucked over by whoever in that walk of life to get them to the point where they don't trust anyone. Well, they ended up meeting up somehow. I can't exactly remember how, but they met up and decided, well, since we don't trust each other and we don't trust no one else, let's just be in a group together. Which is funny because it then moves on to they get a mission together to find a sword that basically allows them to form a union with each other, but they gotta trust each other. So essentially, this group that didn't trust anyone in the world now only trusts each other to essentially create the unions to utilize the sword, because it's like the most OP sword. Neither here or there. Now that's just a setup for the show. This show is about this group of heroes or adventurers are going to eventually take down the most evil power in this world. And everything that happens in season 1 is just a setup to that. How the what you would say the main character, or the lead character of this group, how he becomes stronger of using light body and heavy body, and develops his character a lot more. They actually focus on developing each of the different characters a part of this party, understanding who they are and what makes them stronger. So essentially, like I said, it's not going to be, hey, we're going to fight a bad guy at the end and yay, we won, this is the show. No, this is about setting everybody up so that once we finally get to the end, which is I doubt it's even gonna be season 2, probably like season 3, season 4. They're finally gonna get to the bad guy, the big bad, and we're gonna see everything that has accomplished to this moment actually play out. And I think that's gonna be really good.
It sounds interesting. I'm definitely gonna start it. I didn't watch it, sadly. Trying to catch up on everything else, but I'm definitely gonna watch that one. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good show. Just don't run into it thinking that it's gonna be this amazing. It's really good. They have really good fight choreography. Like the power system is very like straightforward. Like there's magic, there's swords, there's enhancing your body using magic, stuff like that. But it's not like planetary destruction type shit. It's like city level, mountain level type shit. But definitely a good one. Definitely watch it for everyone. Next one, Nier Automata version 1.1a. From what I know about this is an anime that is based off of a video game. Go for it. Go for it.
2B is fucking wife. 2B is waifu. Oh my god.
Who?
2B. 2B is the girl. The white with the white hair and the
Oh my god.
blindfold. She's the main character. Well, one of the main characters.
Mm.
So there was games about this. There's multiple endings to the games, and I'm sure a lot of people have played. Not a lot of people, but a good majority of people have played the game.
Mm.
I never played it. I tested it or tried it at some point, but like playing it, I never did that. I do know the ending, and it's pretty fucking wild. But the show itself, and I don't know which way the show's gonna go because there's multiple endings in the game that you can go to. But the show itself is fucking phenomenal. Like the fighting is fucking fantastic. The powers, the everything that they do is fantastic. So essentially, the synopsis, the quick synopsis. I know I said we're not going to give synopsises, but like long ones, is the human beings are pretty much almost eradicated off the face of the earth by machine life form, alien machines, I guess you can call them. They're aliens, and they create machines, and they come down and destroy a lot of the humans. Well, this is fucking 5,000 years in the future. I'm exaggerating, but it's about that time. And there are robots. They're called fuck, I forgot what the robots are called, but it's like 2B and 9. They're those two. They're the kid with the blindfold. They're pretty much the robots that have the blindfolds. They're synthetics. They are fighting for humanity's side against these robot life forms. So robots fighting against robots, but they're synths. So they fucking are fast as fuck. They're in human bodies, human shape, human form. They materialize swords into their hands out of fucking nothing, out of nowhere. They have these robots that are like ghosts. If anybody has ever played Destiny, they have like ghosts that shoot like fucking mini machine guns from their fucking things that just like hover next to them, and they fight these robots that are all over the planet. There is a human resistance that they end up running into during the show, and they end up helping the human resistance out. But that's pretty much it. Is they're fighting? They're pretty much going down to the earth, and their mission is to constantly eradicate as many machines as possible. And you start finding out closely soon that there's robots that don't want to fight anymore. There's these robots that are part of the aliens that don't want to fight anymore. But they don't. 2B and the other ones kind of at first they don't care. They see robots waving white flags and they just slice them the fuck up. They don't give a fuck because
so the robots have like souls, like they can think for themselves.
They're starting to, and there's a whole back. This last episode that I watched, or last couple episodes I watched, it was talking about there's a robot village right now where a robot who pretty much doesn't want to fight anymore and kind of like his circuitry got messed up. It's kind of funny because he like the robot himself, he fell through this like hole in the ground. This like AI thing hit him in the face and it made him reprogram. And what's his fucking name? 2-9 or what? 9A, 9B or something like that. That's the boy that's with 2B. He was like, it sounds like your programming is bad. And the robot was like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely insane. Like, and pretty much like he ends up finding other robots that don't want to fight and creates this village of robots that want to just live in peace. Now the ending is fucking crazy. The one that I'm thinking of, that I don't know if they're gonna do it, but the ending that I know of is gonna blow some people's minds if they haven't played the games or don't know or haven't read the manga or anything like that. The ending is fucking wild.
Don't ruin it.
I'm not. I wish I could. I really want to. But the thing is, there's multiple endings. There's like 3
That's
endings
not
you
an
can
excuse.
get in the game. But the ending is fucking like just the whole idea of all this, and then you get to the end, and you're just like, what the fuck? But
So it's a good
yeah,
show though. Like super
it's fucking
action
fantastic.
packed.
Super action packed. There's a good story. There's some backstories with some of the
Okay.
humans, and there's some good dialogue, and then it's just like super like the fighting is fantastic. I mean, it's like Fate level
Yeah, from
fighting,
the
just without
animation
the
that I
flash,
saw,
without the
looked
flash
really
and shit.
good.
Yeah,
I mean,
like Fate has all the flashiness and like the giant like flames and shit like that, especially from Sabers fucking like final power or whatever it is.
yeah,
But it's like Fate level fighting, so it's pretty good.
definitely.
I love this show.
I've heard great things about it. The animation looks amazing. The choreography looked great. So, I mean, I don't know. The past few animes that were like video game adaptation, other
Yeah,
than
they were bad, but
Cyberpunk,
this one is
yeah, other than Cyberpunk was a shit.
not really.
But they've been bad. So, I mean, if you're giving Raven reviews, I'll check it out.
I'm gonna get a fucking 2B fucking cosplay
Oh, my
costume, put it
God.
on my way.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you can put it on yourself. Get yourself a body pillow,
Yeah,
a
but
2B
yeah,
body pillow, and just like
I'll
put
get
it right
I'll
there.
get the boob mouse pad
Mm.
for my wrist.
Okay, now, all right, relax. Anyway, so speaking of real waifus, the next show is actually called Reborn to Master the Blade.
I didn't see that
I
one.
mean, it's a good show. This is gonna be super quick. It's a really good show. It's a premise that has been. It's not like it's a new premise. It's a show about a guy. He was a master swordsman. He essentially died at old age, and the god apparently he was so blessed by the gods that they chose to reincarnate him again into a new body. But the new body is a little baby girl this time. He grew up, and he's essentially now and instead they're in the world of magic. He's essentially still a master swordsman, but now she's also using the magic of the world to enhance her own skills. So when we really get into our otaku our octagon, our seasonal octagon, like this, she's definitely going to be a contender. Like, it's a show like super deep where you need to watch every episode and like focus into all the talking scenes. No, it's a show about a OP main character who's isekai, and they do their thing. I finished it up actually probably like a couple hours ago, and it was like a huge fight at the end, and they, OP main character the shit out of the final boss, and that was the end of it. So if you're just trying to watch something that's beginning to end, 12, 13 episodes, this is the show for you, especially if you like isekai. It's not corny. It's like the premise of it is, yeah, like it's pretty good. It's not corny at all. It's just as, I would say, a solid 6.5 show. Like, you're not gonna hate it, but you're not gonna be like, oh god, that was the best thing I watched this season. So again, Reborn and Master Blade. It's another isekai, another decent isekai to throw on top of the stack of other decent isekai.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next one is I hate getting hurt, so I put all of my skill points into defense. Bofuri. So if people have heard of that, I did watch season 1 of this show. Season 1 was good. We spoke about this. Season 1 was fairly good. Like, she's not super like a gamer person, but she joins this game. It's a VR game. I guess the same premise of Sword Art Online. It's a VR experience. She goes in. She doesn't want to get hurt. Some people are like, oh, I just want to play the game, but I don't want to get hurt. So she decides to put all of her skill points into defense. And then, of course, on the same ranks of, say, Rise of the Shield Hero, she essentially, her shield becomes the most OP thing in this world. So by the end of season 1, by the end of season 1, it's doing shit that everyone's like, is that really a shield? Is she using a shield? So
season 2, I watched it. So the whole point of her is she's like a very cutesy Mimi character.
Mm-hmm.
She always is clumsy, and she stumbles into places to fight people that she doesn't think she should be fighting, but then she wins, and then she gets some OP power from them. Like, that's her what is it? esprit de l'aisance, like her, like that's what she is. Season two over exaggerated it, and they lost the plot. I mean, there's not really a plot. They're playing a video game,
Mm-hmm.
but they lost their linearness to the point where it was just them randomly doing random things, and it's like watching a streamer play video games. Like it just became her. Just she kind of starts doing her own thing. Like her team is off fighting together and finding the boss, going from floor to floor, and then she just goes off and does her own thing.
Mm.
It started to get kind of boring, to be honest. Like she would just stumble. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fight the boss too," and then she'll go into a room and then she'll fight the whole boss, get this like super OP ass power that nobody else got. But then they'll be like, "Oh, you weren't the floor boss." Like she just stumbled into some random super powerful like Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring, you'll go look into a tunnel thinking that there's going to be a big boss there, but then you'll find a big boss, but it's not even the big boss you're supposed to be fucking fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they just really over exaggerated it and just lost all premise of there even being a plot. Like I kind of could tell in season one that they were trying to start a plot, maybe trying to get into like floor clearing. Then they'll probably meet like a demon lord or something crazy in the game that they needed to fight.
Yeah.
But then season two, everybody who hated them in other parties, everybody in other parties that hated them now like them.
Yeah.
Like, and so now it's just kind of like they're just playing a video game. I mean, it was just.
I
Like,
mean,
okay.
that was always the premise, but you were
It's like,
expecting
okay.
more, and it didn't
Yeah, and
deliver.
I knew it wasn't Sword Art Online. They get stuck in the video game or anything crazy like that, but I was expecting a little bit more, just a little bit. But then they just started really they got lazy and they just started throwing her in these situations to get more powers and more powers and more powers. And the problem with it is that the devs, right? Devs of video games, those little fucking little tiny little Among Us characters that are fucking talking about her
Mm-hmm.
whenever she does something OP, like in the first season, it seems like they're gonna try to plot against her or throw
Yeah,
something
that's
crazy
what I
her
thought.
way. But then they just don't. They just keep saying, "Oh, she defeated this guy. Dang, that's fucking crazy. Like, she's too powerful." And then the next episode, she defeats somebody that's super powerful again. Dang, she ate him. What the fuck? Oh, that's crazy. We should stop her.
You really make me not want to watch season 2 here, Maui. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But because the first season, it really like amplified that these little things, these devs were going to do something about
Yeah,
her.
yeah, that's what I thought.
But the second season, it's just like, dang, we really need to stop her. And then one of them is like, no, let's let her keep going. They're like, okay.
Okay, all
Like,
right. So,
I really loved it. I really like the show, and I'm disappointed.
yeah.
I am. I'm a little
So,
disappointed.
final question: is this one to continue?
I might continue it because I like
Because you
the
started
characters.
it,
I like the characters and I like the show, but it's not something that I could really recommend. I'd recommend season one all day long, but season two just kind of like Misfit Demon King Academy or
yeah. Honestly,
fucking,
she didn't really like season 1. Honestly, didn't even finish the first one. Like I watched season 1. I finished it. It was cool, but first few episodes, I would say like 4 or 5 episodes in, she's like, no, I'm
like,
good.
the one blonde hair guy that's like the hero, like supposed to be the strongest ever. And like you thought there was gonna be, like he said, the next time we see each other we're gonna fight, but like in a kind of a friendly way, but more like a rival way.
Yeah,
I mean, second season they meet up in a forest and he's like, "Hey, you want to fight together?" Like he just lost. Like, did you not just say what you just fucking said like 2 episodes ago? And he's like, "Hey, let's fight together." And she's like, "Okay." And she turns into that fucking ginormous monster, and he's on top of her head, and they just walk around killing monsters together. And he's like, that was fun. Let's do that again." And she's like, "Okay."
yeah. No point.
Like,
No point of beating a dead
I was
horse.
like,
I mean, if it wasn't that, no
yeah,
worries.
yeah.
But I know this one is probably going to get the same treatment from you because we've had this conversation before. But again, The Legend of Heroes: The Northern War. Talk to us.
I've said a lot of what I had to say. They had a really fucking fantastic first episode. Fantastic first episode. If the whole show was like the first episode, I thought it was going to be like 86. I'd have been all about it, and I fucking loved it. And maybe in the maybe after 20 fucking episodes, it'll go back to that. But the last fucking 5 or 6 or 7 episodes that I watched, it turned into fucking slice of life shopping and political, and they just threw politics in your face immediately.
Yeah.
Like the first episode was badass. They're this short soldier with like a gun. They start fighting these monsters that are fucking attacking them on their patrol. Then she pulls out this fucking sword that nobody is supposed to be able to use, and she fucking slices these things up and jumping around and doing crazy shit. Takes her helmet off, and everybody's like, "Oh, like you're fucking amazing! Like you're so cool! Come on, let's get a drink. You know, like we're at our base. Let's get a drink." And then like the next episode, they're like in town, and then they're shopping, and then the soldiers fight off a robber who tries to blow up like a building or something, and then like you're just like, okay. And then I tried to give it some time. I watched like the second episode, then I watched the third episode, and I'm like, so then I start skipping through it. Like I'll play it, and then I skip through it. And then I'm like, still slice of life. I went to the next episode. I skipped through it. Still slice of life. I went to and I'm swear to God, I went to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What are we watching anymore?
I literally exit out. I told you, I literally exit out of it and looked at the title on my TV, and I was like, this is the same show. Like I thought maybe somehow I changed shows, or like maybe sometimes like if something ends, it'll go to like another show.
Yeah.
It's like, am I watching the same fucking show? But I swear to God. And then that little girl was getting dressed by her friends and like went into the damn dressing room and was trying on outfits and shit. I'm like, this
is it based on a game?
I think so. I think there is a game out about it, but like
another one.
But like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand how it went from that to this. I get it if you're trying to do the whole like what military life is like, right? They did patrols, they went on deployment, right? And then they came back and they enjoyed their life. I get it, but it was the transition was so fucking terrible, and all we got was a tiny bit of action, like a little bit, like a smidge. And just even actually paying attention to it, it was very hard to understand. The minute they started getting into politics, the different kingdoms, why this kingdom wants to fight this kingdom, why the monsters are, attacking these people but not these people, and I'm just like, huh? So say that again? Like, what the fuck? Like, I had to draw a diagram just to understand this shit. And I'm like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I might go back to it to like go through the episodes of how it finished and see if it went back to action, because maybe it does make sense by the time. Maybe they do that whole slice of life thing, and maybe it's just me, and they did like that first fight wasn't like that was like the end, or like that, not the end, but that was when they joined the military or whatever it was. I never got a sense that this was prior, but that might have been like a thing where that fighting and them on deployment on patrol was like at the end, and so we had to see their lives before they got into that bullshit.
Yeah,
because I didn't watch the rest of it because I was just watching a slice of life at that point, and that's not what you marketed, and that was false advertising.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. Let me know.
First episode was
better, but it's not in my book right now to watch unless you give me something better than that. But
I'll give you the green light or the red light once I figure it out.